What's happening, everyone? Siebs here. And are we in a real estate housing bubble? That question was presented to Dave Ramsey, and his video has already gone viral. In a week, it's at over 500,000 views. We're going to respond to that video and that question right now.
I do not think this is a bubble. And that would be the only way it would go down. I think the craziness will slow and the rate of increase in prices will slow, but I don't think this is a false bubble that's going to course correct.
Okay, I'm going to agree with him here. I don't think we're in a bubble. I'm not seeing, like, if you look back to the last great real estate debacle, the recession that happened and followed, there was loans being given to people that should have never gotten loans. No proof of assets, no proof of income, no proof of anything. Let's just give them a loan and they're going to buy 5 or 6 pieces of real estate. This is an environment still that is very challenging to get a loan in. The people that are buying real estate right now are qualified. They're having to prove their income. They're having to prove their assets. And so we are not heading into some sort of a bubble. Now, have prices been increasing at a rate that's unsustainable? Yes, absolutely. Do I think they're going to slow down in the increase? Yes, absolutely. But do I think this whole thing's going to pop and completely crash? I don't see it in the data. I don't see it anywhere in any of the data that we're collecting that would show a sign that there's something completely unsustainable happening to the point where everything would crash. I do think we'll slow down, and I would agree with him here on this point.
But I don't think this is a false bubble that's going to course correct, and the house prices in Pensacola, Florida are going to go down dramatically anytime in the next decade.
Okay. No. I don't think, now, okay, he has 35 years real estate experience. I'm pushing 20, 21 years real estate experience. However, I'm going to completely disagree when anyone is telling me what's going to happen in real estate in the next decade or over the next decade. It's just immediate pushback. I don't care. I don't care how much experience you have. It actually, in my opinion, shows a lack of experience, or dare I say ignorance.
Yeah, man, don't be ignorant. Elmer, don't be ignorant.
For anyone to say that they can predict what's going to be happening in real estate even 3 years down the road. Like, I think generally we can predict, I'd say 6 months to a year out. We can see kind of the trends. We can see the data of what's going on right now, and we can predict things out. But there's even exceptions to that. The coronavirus was an exception to that. That was a sucker punch. That came out of nowhere. And no one saw it coming. And that hit us sideways. Now, I did give my prediction there, which came correct, that it would be a V-shaped recovery in real estate. Whereas a pandemic is something that can last much shorter and the rebound be much quicker. That's what history tells us. That is a lot of what people are saying about this current scenario and this current pandemic that we're in. And it is something that I think I would stand in that camp and say, yes, that the market would dip down. And it did. It dipped down for like 2 months when that hit, especially here in our market in California, in the months of March, April, and May. And even, I would say, through the summer, it was just like a buying market. People were afraid to even go look at homes. And so, man, that was a great time to buy. But that V-shaped recovery started happening quick. And it got to the point where all of a sudden properties had multiple offers and prices were being bid up. And the recovery had kicked in full steam. And so, yeah, so I would disagree completely. If anyone's going to tell you what's going to be happening in real estate beyond the next year, I mean, I don't think you can go beyond a year in predicting what's going to happen in real estate. Now, I will say this. If you're buying right, if you're buying smart, it doesn't totally matter. I mean, I bought properties. I bought multifamily in 2006 and 2007. And that was essentially the peak of the market. But I bought in markets. One was in Texas, one was in Oklahoma. And we bought in markets where the prices did go down during the Great Recession, but it didn't matter people were worried about me. They're like, oh, I hear real estate's going into the tank. How are you doing? 2009. And I'm like, I'm doing fine. I'm not selling. And this was income producing real estate. So there's a difference there. On the income producing real estate, the rents did not go down during the Great Recession. The rents held steady. Matter of fact, in one area where they struck oil and the economy had a little boom, during the recession, rents went up. We had a 10% rent increase on one of the buildings because we were both improving the building and they'd struck oil nearby, and it just created a ton of jobs in the area. And so I'm telling you, it's all about getting educated, knowing your numbers, and learning about what can make a real estate deal make sense so that if hard times come, you sail right through them. All right, let's dive back in.
For instance, I'll give you an example. I don't know what's going to happen in California because there's a mass exodus.
Yeah.
People are leaving. There's a stream of U-Hauls of interstate going down the interstate, leaving the state as fast as they can possibly flee.
Oh, come on. Come on. I'm getting tired of hearing the fleeing California thing. And he makes it sound like it's a scene out of Mad Max where people are just blazing across the desert. Just to get out of California like a line of U-Hauls. Oh my gosh. This is not reality. This is not reality. Of course, there are things and there's major shifts going on right now in terms of people moving out of California. But there's also a continual demand and major shift for people moving into California. And the stats don't always tell the truth. The statistics are showing state by state movement, and the state movement out of California is greater right now than the state movement, the United States movement back into California. However, what we're not quantifying is immigration, not to mention undocumented immigration. Obviously, undocumented immigration is a major flow of people moving into California. Otherwise, it wouldn't be such a big political issue. It's a major flow of people. There's a lot of demand. In the town I live in here along the coast, there's jobs everywhere. There is so much work right now in construction and real estate and tradesmen, and it's been that way for an entire year. There was a slowdown again last year for a few months, but it's been that way nonstop. We can't find enough skilled workers, and that creates demand. There is demand here. Now, of course, there is some leadership issues in California. There's some issues with how they're treating business owners and how they're treating people in terms of taxes. And the whole philosophy is tax the richest in California. Well, then the richest just leave California. There's ways to avoid taxes. And so we're not creating incentives, and that is a problem. But I'm telling you right now, there's not people lined up fleeing for their lives to get out of California. There's actually, I believe, more people coming in that are going out still, but it's not the same. There's a lot of people leaving. That is true, but they're just not. It's just not as dramatic as he's making it sound right here.
Stay down for more than 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I
just wasn't sure if it was such a unique situation because of the amount of overpaying.
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
they're overpaying, but are they? If enough
it's
of them are,
just going to set that new bar.
If enough of them are doing it, that is now the price.
It's the new bar. Yeah.
And so
Right.
the definition,
Yes.
when I went through appraisal class and when I was getting my degree in real estate, the definition of value, of market value, is what a willing buyer is willing to give a willing seller where neither party is in duress. So, in other words, if you're buying a foreclosure, that's someone in duress. You wouldn't count that in an appraisal.
Gotcha.
But if two perfectly healthy situations and they're paying a whole lot, even more than asking price, then, where we're getting multiple offers on a property and that kind of
Right.
stuff, put it on the market, you get 30 offers in a weekend, those kinds of stories are happening all over, then that is the new value.
So when people say, I'm not going to overpay for a house, they're not overpaying. That's the new.
Well, I mean, you're
I think
you're
this is
overpaying what it would have brought 2 months ago.
Right.
And
Yes.
you're overpaying what it would have brought Monday.
Yeah. Essentially, that's the new price. It's like, and the other thing that's going on, you've got to realize this. I'm on the inside of this game. I'm working as an agent here, and I'm seeing what real estate agents are doing is properties are being priced under market value to purposely attract two things. One is an auction environment, because it's good for the price to be bid up as if you're the seller and you're an agent representing the seller. And number two, for the agent that's listing the property to attract buyers to their business. So if I list a property at a really attractive price and it attracts a lot of buyers, those buyers are potentially going to become clients of mine. And so it's a strategy that agents are using to underprice many of these properties that are going on the market. And the property's value is determined by the market. So, for example, let's say you had something really valuable. I don't know, a new iPhone. Let's say you had the new iPhone, right? And you took your new iPhone and you decided you're going to sell it. And you want to create an auction environment. So you put this new iPhone on eBay. And the new iPhone is worth, I don't know, let's just say $750. And you put it on eBay for $50. What's going to happen? Are you going to get multiple bids? Is it going to get bid way up? Yeah, you bet it is. It's not going to sell for $50. You're going to have 30 to 50 to 100 people interested in that iPhone because you posted it at that price, and it's going to get bid up to what? To the price that the market's willing to pay. And that's the price. That's how this works in a free flowing market. Now, yes, absolutely. It's a little crazy right now. Money's cheap. You can get a really low interest rate. And so a lot of these things can factor in. Housing inventory is low. A lot of those things can factor into the prices getting bid up to a point that is not going to continue, I don't think, at the same pace. But again, it's all about what's the value. What's the value in the property? You list a $250,000 property, which I'm going to actually cover this in another episode that someone did. You list it for $250,000 and the comps in that neighborhood are $700,000 to $800,000. It's going to get bid up. It doesn't matter if it needs a ton of work or if it's a huge mess. It's going to get bid up by people trying to buy that property. I mean, if it's $250,000 and the comps are $750,000, that's a $500,000 spread. So if it gets bid up, let's say $300,000, right? Then fine. There's still a $200,000 spread. You put $100,000 into it, and you still gained $100,000 in equity just by doing it, just by buying it and fixing it up. So there's a lot behind the scenes that you have to think about. You have to understand the market, know how to comp a property, know how to price it, know your market well. We're going to go over those things and more. If there's a topic you want me to cover, put it in the comments below. Like the video if we brought you some value, and we'll see you on the next one.